This afternoon, the Washington Post got a little spacey. As you can see, NASA is sending a rover to the moon to prospect for water and to help astronauts, quote, live off the land. The agency is awarding a $200 million contract to fly its Viper rover to the moon's surface. Now, you're wondering at first, why would we go to prospect the moon for water? We know there's water on the moon, right? We've known that since 2009. So when India finds water on the moon, and Buzz Aldrin has said that the moon's had water for decades, we've known that since the 60s, we send China, we send India, they report back, yep, sure enough, there's water up here, so we're going to send people to the moon. And this is what the article says here. NASA announced Thursday it's hiring a private company to send a golf cart-sized rover to the surface of the moon in 2023 that would roam the lunar surface, the lunar South Pole, in search of water. The move comes from the space agency is ramping up its effort to return astronauts to the moon's surface by 2024, a schedule that's considered a long shot by many, but the landing of the NASA's Viper rover would be a significant step towards that goal, helping the space agency decide what regions astronauts should explore and how much life-sustaining water there is beneath the lunar surface, NASA officials said. NASA awarded the contract worth nearly $200 million to Astrobotic, a Pittsburgh-based company, as part of a program to hire private sector companies to deliver cargo and science experiments to the lunar surface. Unlike the Apollo missions, where astronauts visited the moon and then returned home, NASA is now working toward creating a permanent presence. That's moon bases, y'all. We gonna have moon bases. Do you want to live on the moon? You could. They're going to. Under a program it calls Artemis, complete with systems that would help astronauts live off the land. We're gonna have moon bases. We're gonna have multiple. The quote says, or the article continues, the delivery service is, quote, is going to provide a steady cadence of payloads and instruments to maximize science at the moon and to advance the exploration technology, said Thomas Zurbuchen, NASA's Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate. Quote, an important part of this work is to find out where the water is on the moon and how much of it there is. The contract is another sign of how the space agency is continuing to outsource major efforts of its exploration program to the private sector. I'm getting tongue-tied here. But you can see here, commercial partners are changing the landscape of space exploration. Viper is going to be a big part of our efforts to put the first woman and next man onto the lunar surface in 2024. So look no further than that quote right there. 2024, we're going to have a man and a woman again on the surface of the moon. That will be during Trump's presidency still. So just recognize what we're looking for. NASA is sending a rover to hunt for water on the moon. Look at this little piece down here. Where did it say we're going to have multiple bases here? Oh, quote, from Clive Neal. We need to know how deep it is, said Clive Neal, professor of civil and environmental engineering at Earth Sciences at University of Notre Dame. Quote, we don't know it's in the top layer or if it's in the deep or in the soil or the regolith, that's the rocky layer. We need that ground truth, unquote. He said Viper's discovery would help determine where NASA should set up, quote, base camps in terms of being close to resources like life support, rocket fuel, unquote. Discovering water on the moon is not just a scientific breakthrough, it also could help open up economic markets in deep space by essentially turning the moon into a gas station in space. Quote, the discovery of water ice at the poles, so water ice at the poles, excuse me, said that in a weird way. I'll restart that. Quote, the discovery of water ice, damn it, I did it again. Quote, the discovery of water ice at the poles is potentially a massive breakthrough for commercial opportunities in space because we can turn that water into fuel. That's right. Hyperfrozen water ice in space can be turned into fuel. We have hydrogen engines. We know we have carbon dioxide-based engines from the 60s. Opportunities in space, we can turn that water into rocket fuel. John Thornton, Astrobotic's CEO. They are the company that got the $200 million contract. So Christian Davenport at Washington Post, nice job. NASA is sending people to the moon. We're going to build bases. We're going to have multiple manned bases on the moon by 2024. Unbelievable. If you like the video, please like it. Click that little this button. Share it, please. Leave a comment. if you want, subscribe, and then be on your way.